So I'm going to take 15 minutes to try to say a few words, speaking as Lex Hixon, not as open space. But I don't think we have to have any sense that we're withdrawing from open space at this moment, because if microphone is a name for open space, so Lex Hixon is a name for open space, and each of our names is a name for open space. Well, I'd like to explore the connection between open space and what I call total humanity. What the topic indicates as the transformation of becoming completely human. I believe it's very important that my brother included the word transformation there, because to claim one's birthright is a process. It's even a frightening process. It even takes a kind of, there's a risk about it. If one waits until one has reached majority to sort of receive one's birthright automatically, then really this will be a post-mortem experience. But the ones who want to claim their birthright here and now, not just for themselves obviously, but to share this immense wealth with all living beings, there is a process, there is a transformation, so that we are total humanity, what I call we are total woman-man. But we must go through some sort of process to really fully express this. So total woman-man is open space. Open space is not some sort of vast tundra, stretching in all directions, kind of frozen. Open space is sheer dynamism, and it is the totality of woman-man. Someone asked me before the session, read in Baba Muhaiddin's book, Truth and Light, that there are 60,000 methods of meditation, and he asked whether he needed to practice all of them to reach open space. We must be very strict always with our thinking. We don't reach open space. The total woman-man reality is open space. You are open space. We are open space. And I'm trying to stay very, very clear to my side of the discussion by not introducing religious notions here. Let's say that all of the noble religious traditions of humanity are doors to open space if we have to make a conceptuality of it. And now I am indulging in some conceptuality to help myself and all of us to approach this. But if you get a picture of open space, if you get a picture of a sort of a blueprint of the way the open space relates to being fully human, we're already coming away from it. So that explanations are so helpful and religions are so helpful, but if we stay by the door, if we don't go across the threshold and enter, then we haven't come to the fruition. Now, when you enter open space, you find everything there. So please don't. I think that the title, the open space beyond religion, might be a little misleading, because it's beyond religion in the sense of beyond the explanations of religion. But the heart of the spiritual heart of any great noble tradition, all of the traditions represented at this Parliament, is that open space, is that total humanity, which I would call this total woman-man reality. We're not really getting all that discursive. I can feel that my speech is still operating largely in the non-discursive realm, but I think that's very important. This Parliament has been very discursive, not in any negative sense. It's been articulating responsibilities and presenting very important information to us. But the open space beyond religion is a non-discursive space, although it itself manifests as all the explanations, all the rich and beautiful explanations. We don't want to get some sort of dualism going between open space and some limited forms of space. To use an example from Hinduism, the space within the jar. The space within the jar is a limited space in some sense. In another sense, it's just open space. If you break the jar, there isn't a kind of click when the limited space becomes one with open space. It always is open space. So that the jars containing the fragrant, precious myrrh, or containing the treasures of the sacred traditions, are really not limits. As our brother said, no limits, not finding any limits. So the perfect open space exists completely right now. I can see why one engages in explanations, because the more we stay in this, it might sound like a very vague, amorphous mode of speech right now. And it could be. I mean, we couldn't continue this way for hours and hours. We couldn't have an entire parliament where people were speaking just this way. It would, our habitual ways of thinking, our conditioning would just begin flowing back in. Our minds would wander, and we would start thinking about the responsibilities we have, either the simple personal responsibilities or the planetary responsibilities. So that this is like a spice. This is like a spice. This meditation on open space, by which we should spice the sustenance of our complete humanity, of being completely human. This makes it delicious. To change metaphors, this is what frees us from absolutizing or dogmatizing any position, any no matter how great it is, and it frees us from lifting any of our responsibilities, no matter how great they are, to a kind of the highest rung, with hierarchically arranging responsibilities. So our responsibility is on top of the hierarchical arrangement. These are all tendencies that we have as conditioned beings. So the process of transformation must go on, and for this, the great spiritual traditions are absolutely essential. So there's no nihilism in here. Open space, the open space beyond religions is not a nihilistic point of view in in the Buddhist analysis, which Buddhism has analyzed nihilism very profoundly, because Buddhism could be misunderstood in a nihilistic way, so that it's specialized in pointing out the error of nihilism. So that to say we don't need any of these practices, we don't need any of these teachings, we don't need teachers, all of that would be a nihilistic interpretation of open space. We need everything. I need, at this moment, my brother very desperately, I'm looking forward to handing the microphone over to him, and I need my brothers and sisters in this room who are listening. We are not trying to reach some vast autonomy, some superhuman realization where we're above or beyond anything. Open space is completely present to every detail, and that the sages, both men and women, who have entered this open space, and they've entered it through the doors of all the traditions, and occasionally they enter it through a spontaneous door that manifests without any particular tradition. The ones who've entered that open space are awakened as that open space to change the we don't want to make a spatial metaphor that you enter open space, but let's say those who've awakened as open space are completely present to everybody, to every detail, to every insect, bird, animal, so that they are the demonstration of the fact that open space is not a void, and that we're not engaged in quietism, nihilism, or for that matter, any ism. Christianity is not an ism. Islam is not an ism. I could go on mentioning the great noble traditions. That would be a nihilistic interpretation of the great traditions. But what they really are is open space. Total plenitude, total affirmation. And if it helps anyone, we should affirm this as a Mahavakya, as a great affirmation, as the Upanishads teach, that humanity is open space. To put it in humanity is Buddha nature. Humanity is God. But you see, this is our Zen brothers, Master Sun Sanim, who had that big stick, the other day, said that if you say humanity is God, the stick will hit you. He didn't say I will hit you. He said the stick will hit you. And if you say humanity is not God, the stick will hit you. So what do you say? Open space. But to have the answers, open space is the answer. It is the secret teaching. There's the outer teaching, the inner teaching, and the secret teaching. This is the secret teaching that's being openly presented to you and to us too. We're both of us are surprised by this teaching. But it doesn't really do any good just to have the secret teaching without knowing how to get there from the outer teaching and to the inner teaching. So every tradition has an outer teaching and an inner teaching. Open space is the secret teaching. But you can't walk around just saying, I'm the secret teaching. Other than the sheer arrogance of it, it also doesn't work well because of our conditioned reality, our socially and personally conditioned reality, which Christians call sin. Sin is not some heavy moralistic trip. It's a reference to this conditioning. It's a very subtle reference, just like every tradition has some reference to this. So that we have here in this room, in this moment, beautifully articulated by open space itself, this the inner teaching and the outer teaching of our various traditions. And we have to be able to go both ways. We have to be able to go from the outer teaching into the inner teaching, into the secret teaching. Then you have to be able to turn around and go back out again. And you have to see how it's all coherent and without leaving out any detail. And so that is what we must practice to do together.